Mr. Mike.
I know. The fifth day was fun to learn about, but on the sixth day, God accomplished His greatest creation. No, although I like tigers, the greatest creation was not the tiger. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth, each according to its kind." And it was so. Well, the first thing that God talks about in verse 24 is cattle. So let's talk about that. What are cattle? Before we talk about cattle, let's remember that in the beginning of Genesis, God gave us fruit and vegetables to eat. That's all. After a while, God allowed man to use animals to do work for him, like plowing the fields. Cattle can also carry things. And they can also carry people, even you, so you don't have to walk. I don't really mean carrying around in a circle. I mean, you could use a horse to carry you into town. Oh, yeah, that was 100 years ago. You don't know what it's like to ride a horse into town, do you? But if you watch some old cowboy movies, maybe you do know. After man sinned, God allowed us to eat meat. You know, steaks, hamburgers, good stuff like that. But besides cows, we were allowed to eat other animals also. Now, these sheep are cute, aren't they? But did you ever eat lamb chops? They come from sheep. God also allowed us to eat from other animals. By the way, how do you like this floating head trick? There's only one problem. I can't point. I have to go like that or like that if I'm trying to point. Cattle are the things that we keep on farms. Here are some of the animals that people use as cattle, and they also use for food. This is a pig. You might also know him as bacon, ham, barbecue, roast pork, spare ribs. Oh, I love spare ribs. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not supposed to be part of this video. This is a goat. I really like goat cheese. Do you? In a lot of places, people eat goats. In other parts of the world, there are other cattle that we're not familiar with, such as camels and llamas. When God first made cattle, they were just there. But later on, God provided cattle so they could work for man and they could provide food. Remember that it wasn't always this way. We started using cattle for work and food only after man sinned. The next thing that God talks about in verse 24 are the creeping things. That means bugs. Yuck. Oh, cockroaches. Oh. Okay, so what are these creepy crawly things? First we have ladybugs, and there's caterpillars, and there's dragonflies. They're pretty cool. Dragonflies aren't creepy crawly things. They fly. Yeah, but they're insects. That's part of this. And there's beetles. Ooh, and grasshoppers. Yeah, I guess we have to count those. Ooh, that's another ugly caterpillar. Isn't it neat that they turn into butterflies later? Well, there's that beetle again. Oh, and spiders. Now, spiders are really interesting. I mean, they do such great work. They are terrific builders. They bite.
Big deal.
And there's snails. They're creepy crawly things too, aren't they? You might have to include snakes too.
Yeah, but they bite too.
No, they didn't bite when God created them. After man sinned, that's a different story. Maybe we deserve the snake bites.
Watch out, don't let that rattlesnake get you.
Ah, too late! And finally, in verse 24, God talks about the beasts of the earth.
I'll bet you didn't expect that. But God created dinosaurs on the same day that he created cats and dogs and horses and cows.
Well, once again, God spoke and things happened. He said, "Let there be cattle, creeping things, and beasts," and it happened. It was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Well, the first thing in verse 25 is the beasts of the earth.
Now we talked about kinds before. Everything has babies according to what they are. He needs to brush his teeth. Anyway, a gorilla cannot have a baby squirrel.
And the next thing in verse 25 is cattle. Now, kids, here's a big surprise. Cows cannot give birth to baby monkeys. And the last thing is the creepy crawly things.
And I'm sorry, but a beetle cannot have a horse. That's what people who believe in evolution are trying to get you to believe, that animals can have a different kind of animal. We started with some gooey stuff in a swamp. It became an amoeba, then a bug, finally a fish, then maybe a crocodile like we saw on the last day. And eventually, we got elephants. Oh, and we got human beings. Yeah, we came from monkeys, according to evolutionists. Now, remember, evolutionists are people who do not believe in God, or they don't believe God can do what he said he could do.